Stay tuned for Airgun Detectives.
Welcome to another episode of Airgun Detectives. Today, we're going to take the mystery out of this Umarex Synergis. It's a .177 caliber multi-shot underlever. But before we get started here, do me a favor. If you haven't already, hit that little subscribe button down there. If you'd like to be notified of our new videos coming out, please hit the little bell. As always, we appreciate your feedback. We really like the thumbs up. In addition to that, check out my new website. See that little mark that looks like a small lowercase I or an upside down explanation part? That's a link. You can click on that anytime going through the video and you can actually go right to my website. So anyway, let's talk about this Umarex Synergis. All right, here we go. This just came out by Umarex. This is their gas-piston underlever. And it's a multi-shot. It takes a 12-shot magazine. Let me show you what the magazines look like. These are these little teeny guys, and they actually work quite well. To load them, let me show you real quick how you load one. Very simple process. So you start out with a magazine like this. You rotate it all the way over till it stops. Okay. Then see the little hole under there where the pellet comes out. You put your thumb under there, and you drop a pellet in. So when you drop that pellet down in there, okay, now it holds the magazine, and then you just go to each location. It's really easy to load, and just drop a pellet in, just like this, see? Just like that. Until you go all the way down, you load them all the way down, and then you just bring this back into the lock position, just like that. Very, very simple. And then to put it in this gun, you just take our cocking lever right here, and you don't even have to cock the gun all the way. You just pull it down just about halfway and the magazine just pops in and out. It's that simple. They slide in and they actually will snap into place. And you just reclose this. But let's talk about the rifle. So I showed you the magazine. So it's a 12-shot magazine. Comes with a pretty nice finish. The finish on this almost looks like it's a flat black. It doesn't look like it's going to take a lot of fingerprints, which is kind of nice. It's got a synthetic stock. It's got a little butt pad on it here. It's got your Picatinny rail right along here. And it has a single stage trigger here. There's no information, really not putting out what the trigger weight is on this, but we'll go ahead and test it right out of the box. I did add the Picatinny rails and my bipods to shoot off that. It's actually a pretty good foundation. So the gun actually comes with a 3x9x40 scope with a non-adjustable objective. Let me show you this here. So this is your scope. It's actually pretty clear scope. It's just I really like to shoot with an adjustable objective. You know, bad eyes, older age. But the scope's decent. It's not bad. You probably don't want to shoot any closer than about 20, no closer than 20 yards with this scope. But anyway, that's probably one thing that you'd probably want to ultimately upgrade. So it does come with a scope. Magazines, you can get extra magazines for these for about 16 bucks for 2 of them. So it breaks down to about $8 a piece, which is kind of nice because you can load up a few of them and you'd be ready to go. The gun overall is 45.5 inches long. It's got a 18.5 inch barrel. And the cocking lever, they claim is 30 pounds. I beg to differ. I think it's like 35, 38 pounds. The overall gun weighs 8 pounds according to their specs. The way you see this gun right now, I put it on the scale, it weighs over 10 pounds. And trust me, these rails, they're aluminum, they're pretty lightweight. So I would guess this gun with the scope, you're looking at right around 10 pounds. They're claiming that the velocity on this, it'll shoot 1,200 feet per second with an alloy pellet and 1,000 feet per second with a lead pellet. So we'll go ahead and test that out. The gun retails for about $159, and you can definitely look for a sale and get these on sale. So let's go ahead and take this out and let's put it through our series of tests, and let's see how well it performs, and we'll come back and talk about it. So stay tuned for the next segment. Okay, let's see what type of velocity our new Umarex Synergis has. We're just going to shoot some of the RWS, the basic. They're a 7.0 grain. Now I gotta be honest with you guys, this thing is right out of the box. So there's obviously going to be some change in standard deviation because there's probably still a little lubricants in the piston or what have you. But let's just shoot 5 shots and see what we get. All right. All right, so shot number 1. 893. Shot number 2. 1025. So I knew there would be a little change in velocity there, just because, like I said, there's still some lubricants on that piston. I can't tell from here if that's red or not. It's showing 1021. That could be the previous shot. So let's do another one. All right, 870. $879. That's probably where it's going to settle down to, I'm going to guess. Do another one. 880. Yeah, see there? That's kind of where, that's probably where your average is going to be. Let's do one more. 875. Yeah, I'm going to throw out that 1,000-foot one. That's because it's probably a little bit of dieseling, and it's kind of throwing our average off. So I'm going to average the 800 ones, and you can see right where we're at and where the foot-pounds are. So let's move on to the next segment. Okay, let's test the accuracy now on our Umarex Synergis. We're going to be shooting our usual 20 yards just to see what type of grouping we have. Do you want to take a look at this real quick? That's where we're shooting from. I found 2 good pellets in this. This gun really likes the heavier pellets, and I went through a lot of different pellets. 2 favorites, the JSB, the 10.34 grains, and we also have the H&N Sport, the Barracuda Match. These are the 10.65 grain. These work really, really well too. In fact, they work so good, I'm going to shoot 5 shots with each one, and we can show you what type of grouping we get. So let's see how we do here. Yes, I am shooting off my bipods. As you can tell, I installed them on this. Alrighty. That's 3. And 4. And 5. Not too shabby of a group. Okay, now I'm going to show you, we're going to shoot with the Barracuda Match, and we'll see how well those group. Hopefully we can do the same with the Barracuda Match here. Let's see. That's one. Two. Three. 4. And last but not least, 5. Not bad grouping. This thing has a pretty decent recoil too. and not a match grade trigger, but not a bad trigger. All right, take a look at those two groupings, and now let's move on to the next segment. Okay, let's test our Umarex Synergis and see what type of trigger weight we get. Okay, this thing is right out of the box. I fired it a few times. To be honest with you, to me right now, the trigger feels a little gritty, but let's just see what it is out of the box, and we'll go from there. So we got our trusty Lyman trigger gauge here, and let's see what type of pull weight we can get. All right. Well, that was 2 pounds, 9.3 ounces. That's under a 3-pound trigger out of the box. That's not bad. Let's do one more and just see what we get out of 2, since it is so new. Let's see what we get out of this one. Okay. Let's go for pull number 2. Three pounds, and it looks like less than 2 ounces, 0.2 of an ounce. So there you have it, right out of the box. You're looking right around about a 3-pound trigger. So like I said, it felt a little gritty, but maybe in time it'll smooth out a little bit. So let's move on to the next segment. The best part of the entire review here is the plinking. So we're our usual 40 yards back. Let me show you how far that is. So you can see the little objects that we're going to shoot there. Little shotgun shell, little blue bulb on the far left-hand side. Yeah, left over from Christmas. Wife decides she doesn't like the blue bulbs anymore. So she was going to throw those out. I said, no, I'll use those. Anyway, we're going to shoot the JSBs, the 10.34s. They had a slight edge at the 40 yards. So let's shoot those. We'll knock down a few of these targets, and we'll go from there. All right. Start with the shotgun shell. Yeah, I'd say that's a hit. This thing actually hits with some authority. It's got some power. That was a nick. Ooh. That was a hit. Here we go. Well, I'd say that was some pretty good plinking. So you see how well that performed at 40 yards. So let's go ahead and wrap this thing off and move to the next segment. Let's wrap this up with our conclusion here on our Umarex Synergis. Overall, the gun actually performed pretty well, but let's talk a little bit about the negatives. Just be honest with you, this is the 3rd Synergis that I received. The first one I got it, right out of the box, I cocked it, and the pellet jammed right in the breech. I punched the pellet out, put another magazine, same thing happened. Had to send it back, couldn't even shoot it. Second one I got, it came in the cocking arm here was completely lined up almost off to the side here at this direction. So the cocking arm wasn't even lined up with the barrel, and that's just kind of poor quality control. This one actually seems to be all right. It's lined up, and you saw that it shot quite well. Maybe this is just a quality control thing, and they got to, since it is such a new model, you got to kind of iron out some of the kinks. So that could be understandable. But I did have to go through. This is my 3rd one, so I had to go through a few of them. Another negative. This recoil pad. This thing is hard as a rock. This thing should be made out of a lot softer material, because this gun actually has a halfway decent recoil, so it would be nice if it was a little more padded. Especially with this left shoulder, since I had surgery on it, it's a little more sensitive. Okay, the scope, not so good. A 3x9x40. I would like something with an adjustable objective, and maybe a mil dot would be nice. But It is somewhat clear, so it's usable. It's just you would eventually would like to upgrade it. And the scope rings on it, it's got the single screw-in scope rings, so they're not very solid. So that would be my negative there. Also, the trigger, non-adjustable, but we will talk about that because it was pretty gritty out of the box, and I actually took it apart and polished it and smoothed it out a little bit. So it actually is working pretty well now. And I'll show you some pictures of that. The trigger is really easy to come out. There's only 3 pins that hold that in. The assembly slides right out, and it's very easy to polish it. And I have some material on it. I can actually put a video together for you, or I'll do an article on my website about how to tune this trigger, because it is actually pretty simple, and you will smooth it out. Okay, as far as performance goes, Umarex was claiming 1,000 feet per second with lead pellets. Well, we achieved that. And what you're going to see probably as this gun settles down with around the 7-grain pellets, you're going to see about 900 feet per second. However, this doesn't like the lighter pellets. You want the ultimate accuracy, you got to go with the 10-grain pellets. And you saw the JSB as well as the H&N Sport. Those are your best choices in your 10-grain pellets for this gun. And I went through quite a few, but those by far are your 2 closest. Other than that, I put the rails on here. Obviously, it shot quite well on that because we were getting some decent accuracy out of this. Actually, really good accuracy out of this. We're getting well under a ½ inch at 20 yards, and you saw the small objects we were hitting at 40 yards, and that was with the heavier pellets. So keep that in mind. This does like the heavier pellets, and I saw some reviews out there. Guys were having problems with the accuracy. Go up in your weight in pellets. You saw what type of groups I was getting. And, you know, that achieved obviously between that, and then I provided a nice stable platform for shooting this. So one other negative on this, I forgot. Just want to cover this real quick. This cocking handle right here, the catch, let me open this up. Right here. Right here, so hopefully this is focused well. Anyway, this catch right here that actually the handle catches up on, this is made out of plastic, and I don't know how long that's going to last. To me, it seems like it could be a problem. So when I bring this up, on purpose, I slide the handle forward, or backward, I should say, forward. Depends what angle you're at. But I slide the handle backward as I come up. So when I'm actually, you can watch it in the video, when I cock it and I actually bring it up, I gently bring this up because I don't want to slam it into that. I think that could wear out. Another positive, the magazines, they're very inexpensive. So you could actually, I mean, we're talking 16 bucks for 2 of them. So they're about 8 bucks a piece. So you can definitely load up on a few of those, and that would be quite well. And if you think about it, this gun was getting about 12 foot-pounds of energy, which is plenty enough to hunt some small games, especially if you're using the 10-grain pellets. It does quite well with that. So overall, underlevel, pretty accurate, but honestly, I had some issues with the first few, so that's going to move my rating down. So I'm going to say out of the box, this is going to get 3 3/4 stars. 3 3/4 stars, which I think is a fair rating. But overall, for 150 bucks, it's not a bad rifle. Anyway, if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. If you'd like to be notified once again, don't forget to hit the little bell, and don't forget my website. Check that out if you're interested in some t-shirts or some of the bipods. I even have some other little items on there, but just check it out. And I'm trying to, when I get time, I try to put some articles on there too that can hopefully benefit you. So until next time, this is where we take the mystery out of air guns. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it.